This is Jonathan Aguilar, Pro Boxing fans, joined by Shane McGuigan, who's spent the morning ripping into me here at the gym for various things, including my boxing technique. But how are you?
Yeah, I'm better than your boxing technique, so...
Most people are. We were here today for Ellie Scotney, back in action, July 11th at Madison Square Garden. Is that the first time you'll have a fighting at MSG?
Yeah. So I've had someone headline Brooklyn, Barclays Centre, but yeah, Madison Square Garden, first time.
Sorry for that?
Nah, not really. No.
Okay. Ellie, made the decision to sign with Jake Paul and MVP. Given the fact there's an all-women's card, it's on Netflix. Was it a no-brainer, or how much were you involved in the decision as well?
Yeah, I mean we manage her, so we were heavily involved. It's just it's a decision that really suited Ellie at this stage of her career. She's unified world champion, and it's time that she gets really appreciated and looked after. And I think that's first fight is for another belt, which we've been trying to get for a long time. Ricardo and MVP and Jake Paul, they delivered it on the first go, so we're very, very thankful.
What do you make of her as a fighter? She's just beaten Ramla Ali. What tests will she bring on July 11th?
Well, she's awkward. She's got a good left hook on the way back. She's a decent counter puncher, and I think I just wanted to come and have a go. I wanted to come and have a fight with Ellie, because I think Ellie can beat her on the front foot, she can beat her on the back foot. It's just about looking good and actually being in an exciting fight, and you don't get many opportunities to box in Madison Square Garden on Netflix and have a great fight, and I hope that she comes there and gives it her all, Mikado, because I know Ellie Scotney will.
Do you think Netflix could be the future, or do you think they'll just sort of dip in and dip out?
Well, they're unbelievable subscription. They're a huge platform. I mean, of course, that is where they wouldn't need to fully rebuild another platform. They've got their own infrastructure, so if they want to do it, they could take over boxing. It's just whether they want to or not. Same thing with Amazon Prime. They could take it over. It's just whether they want to do it.
I spoke to Ellie earlier, and she said this fight has a lot more meaning now. Since the tragic passing of Georgia Cardinelli. She said it's been a tough camp though because of that. Just describe sort of the camp so far, and I'm sure that would have affected her.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a tragic story. It's terrible. Someone so young, got the whole life ahead of them, and just taken away in such a horrible way. Obviously, I've got family history with it as well, and I think my heart goes out to her family, and I think Ellie's very, very close to them, and it's really, really affected her. She's obviously lost family members and stuff, but to look it gives you a very different perspective on life when you lose somebody that's so young. When you see 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, people like uncles and aunties or whatever passing away, you can kind of make reason for it. But losing somebody so young with their whole life ahead of them, and just in that fashion to see somebody deteriorate, it's absolutely horrible. It's terrible, and you wouldn't wish it on anybody. So it's been a hard camp for her for sure, and but we're all here to support her, and I said you just got to use it to fuel it now.
Seen Adam Azim in the gym today. Obviously we don't know really what's going on with him in terms of Sky and Boxer and stuff. Are you know anything, or are you none the wiser about what's going on?
I don't have a Scooby.
So for him, what's the plan then? Is he just continuing training and just waiting to see what happens?
Yeah, hopefully he'll get out in 2030, and he'll be boxing around then.
Okay, great. CBS, what's the latest with him?
Same. Chris he's on holiday right now. He's going to come out and support Ellie, and in New York, and I think he's just he's looking for a big opportunity with Chris. He had his sights set on the WBC. Obviously, that was a bit of a sort of frustrating time now that they're having the rematch, but hopefully there can be clarity in the winner in the next fight, and he can try and look to get the winner of that. You've got Dortica's boxing, Zerdo, this weekend, I think it is, or maybe it's this weekend, isn't it?
On the Jake Paul card.
Yeah, it's 23rd, 28th. Sorry, yeah. And so yeah, I mean that's around the corner for him, and in terms of that's around the corner, and it's something that he can set his sights on. Obviously, lost to Zerdo, styles make fights. Dorcas is definitely past his best, but he boxes long, and I think that might give him a good chance against Zerdo. So this is the thing about boxing; it changes every minute, and you just got to keep your eye on the change and make sure that you can you're training, and if an opportunity comes up, you take it, because his ambitions is to fight for a world title again.
Get your few thoughts on a couple of fights coming up. Daniel Dubois rematching Usyk. How do you see that going?
I think Daniel is on a much better form. He's definitely hasn't registered the last fight as a loss, which is a great thing. He's just sort of put it to the back of his head and made a reason for the fact that he should have won the fight, and he's just got great momentum. Big Baby Miller, Hrgovic, AJ. But I do think after 4 or 5 rounds, when he's working at a tempo that he's not used to work, he doesn't like to work at, Hrgovic forced the pace, AJ forced the pace. Big Baby Miller was making him work at his pace, then he turned it over. But that's a very different pace to what Usyk fights at. So I think it's all down to tempo, and I think that is the biggest thing that takes your mind off it. And when you're just getting clipped, constantly clipped, it takes all the fight away from you.
Massive fight on September 13th, Canelo and Terence Crawford. What chance do you give Crawford? How does he go about beating him, and do you think he will beat Canelo?
I think he's actually got a decent chance. He's a massive frame. Obviously, he boxes light as 135, but Canelo boxes low as 147. So there's definitely 2 weight divisions difference between the two of them. But they've both really filled out and thickened out as they've gone on. I think Crawford's going to be taller than him, and he looks very heavy at the moment. I've seen some footage of Crawford like moving around. He looks quite like thick and chunky around his waist. I think he's got to find the right weight, because I don't think adding too much weight is going to actually help him. He needs to make this a skilled fight, but he's definitely got loads and loads and loads of skill. He can take a shot. He's very, very accurate, and I think he's got a good chance. I think if you look at Canelo gives away rounds. He gave away rounds against Kovalev. He gave rounds against even the likes of someone like Amir Khan that was naturally quicker than him and stuff like that. And I think if you've got to fight the round that you're in, and I think if Crawford fights the round that he's in and banks enough rounds early, he's got a good chance. I'm not sure if he'd be able to win the fight, but he's definitely got a chance.
Lastly, we're waiting to hear if apparently Joshua's going to come back in sort of September time. There's various people like Froch saying that he should retire. Do you think how many fights realistically do you think he's got in him, or do you agree that he should maybe call it a day now?
It's up to him, really. It's not really for me to say. I think us as fans, obviously we want like the Fury fight, and we still want him to box because he's always in exciting fights. But it has to suit him. And I think if you look at his achievements, is he going to go and achieve world honours? I'm not sure he will. It depends. I think if he genuinely believes he can win a world title again, then he should stay in boxing. But if he doesn't, then maybe it's his time to get out, because he's made enough money. He's got a name for himself. He's done everything in the sport. So it's just down to him, really. I think a lot of time, I think he's doing the right thing. He's taking that time out to sort of reflect, but he's not getting any younger, and he doesn't need the money. So if you're not going to be able to win world titles and do it at that, or if you don't believe you can, if he believes he can, stay in the game. And if he needs to make the changes, he can make the changes. But it's just down to the belief in himself.
Shane, appreciate your time. How's your YouTube channel going?
Good. I haven't done one yet. Recently, I was going to do one on Adam's fight day, but we'll have a few launched again. It's just nothing exciting is happening. So once exciting things happen again, we'll start it back up.
Shane, appreciate your time.
Cheers.